Well, I think that what Ukraine has taught or is teaching all of us is that any notion that the United States is going to, in an easy way, just be able to focus on Indo-Pacific and ignore everywhere else, is not serious. The United States is going to have to grapple with challenges to what was its hegemony. There's no longer hegemony, but what was its predominance, let us say, in global affairs. It is going to have to deal with a number of challenges. The Chinese challenge, of course, is the most potent and maybe the most historically important and significant of them. But there is also clearly now a very urgent Russian challenge, not only to Ukraine, but via Ukraine to European security as a whole, as I think European countries are aware. And we here in this region are aware that there is also an Iranian, maybe more localized Iranian challenge to order, to the existing security architecture, so to speak, of the last couple of decades here in the Middle East. There is an attempt by the Iranians to change it. Now, the United States, I think, is simply not going to have the luxury of being able to say, well, yes, we're actually only interested in the challenge from China. We don't have time for these other ones. So somebody else is going to have to sort out the others. That's clearly not going to work. The United States remains an indispensable country. And Ukraine is teaching us that, I think, each day anew. My sense from here in Middle East region, however, is that, as a strong regional player from the point of view of Israel, Israel is able to navigate and weather a situation in which America, legitimately from its own point of view, is saying to its regional allies, look, guys, we're still aligned, we're still an ally, but we would like you as local players to be taking a much more central role, let us say, in security and in securing order in the region. For some of the weaker players who are associated with the US, so we can say, such as we talked about the Kurds, for example, or we talked about the Gulf Arab countries, this drawdown produces profound unease because they really need a protector, so to speak. Israel has never been quite in that situation. Israel has never had to ask American soldiers to risk their lives in Israel's defense. Israel has always said, we will handle, on the practical level, our defense. So we, I think, are in a much better position to navigate or to weather that American drawdown. I would even say, in a certain sense, Israel can benefit from the US desire to take a back seat here in our Middle East region, because it means that those players who do need help, those players such as UAE or Bahrain, in the absence, let's say, of clear American guarantees, will find it necessary or worthwhile to draw closer to Israel. We can already see with Chief of Staff Brigadier General Aviv Kochavi's visit recently to Bahrain, with the Defense Minister Gantz's visit to UAE, we can see the way that that's working. The Gulfis want actually to signal to the Iranians, by the way, we have very powerful friends not too far away from here, and let's, so to take that into account. So Israel can also benefit from that, I think. But at the end of the day, the United States is not going to be able to have a Cold War only in the Indo-Pacific and then some other arrangement everywhere else. If you have Cold Wars, they're going to be global in nature. I think that's what we're beginning to see right now.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. धन्यवाद, नमस्कार.